Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Four podcast. Alex, not with us today. Very shocking development. As he usually, he usually is always on here. Luke will be joining us at some point, we hope. Nobody knows where he is right now. But as promised, we are bringing on a special guest. We promised this last week. This person is a world-renowned college football writer, huge in the college football world, no doubt about it. Please welcome frequent friend of the podcast, Heath. Heath, how are we doing?
Other than being tired, I'm doing pretty good, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Outgun him and outrun him.
Okay. We'll start with Alabama and Georgia. I know you guys were locked into this game last week. Any reactions to the Alabama-Georgia game? Heath, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm not surprised at all because it's SEC East teams never play well in Tuscaloosa.
Outgun him and outrun him.
Okay.
SEC East teams never playing good in Tuscaloosa, and Georgia can never win big games. Let's not forget this.
All right.
Georgia can never win big in conference.
Yeah, I think that's late news. Okay, thanks for that great analysis.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Oh, whoops. Okay, Mike.
Disappointing for Georgia. I think they were expecting to play a lot better than they did, and they held it. They held their own in the first half, but I went against my own cardinal rule, which if two teams are even talent-wise, you always go with the better quarterback, and I went my heart over my head last week. That's my bad. That won't happen again. Although the mailman played okay.
He didn't. He was awful. Are you kidding me?
No, the mailman delivered in the first half.
He sucked in the second half. He was awful.
No, the first half's all that matters anyway. So played well.
Yeah, coming from the true Michigan State fan.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Alabama's. I think they're going to be very good. Well, I mean, they are very good, but I think they're the team to beat right now. Just the way they were able to lean on Georgia's defensive line and run at will in the second half. I think that's a good sign. I think Alabama is going to have a easy ride to the playoff unless Georgia can get JT Daniels in there and have a decent quarterback.
Yeah, I don't really know what Mike was thinking last week taking Georgia. Really just a boneheaded pick.
No, I was talking about the first half.
I'd really
like
to apologize for just his ineptitude on this podcast. I know it's an embarrassment.
Ineptitude. That's why I'm 9 games up in the picks.
Yeah,
How about that?
You calculate the picks. I wonder why. I wonder how you're 9 games up.
You want to fine. You can recalculate all the picks we've had. Go ahead.
I will. I'm going to go back and count them all. Every single one.
Go ahead.
And I'll tell you one thing. Alex will now have 24 wins for picking 0 games this year.
Like it matters.
He's picked no games. How does he have 24 wins?
Because he has the benefit of the doubt. That's why.
Okay. Georgia, after watching last week, I am totally convinced that Florida is the best team in the East. No doubt about it. They have the better quarterback. And Georgia might have a little bit more talent, but they have the better quarterback. Florida does. Stetson Bennett is horrible. He's terrible. He's not good. I don't know where Mike, I know he loves Stetson Bennett. The guy sucks. He's not good. And that vaunted Georgia defense just got torn apart by Mac Attack and Alabama. Mac Jones, by far the best quarterback.
Everybody gets torn apart by Alabama.
Okay, where's the best defense in the country? I couldn't find it. I was looking, but I couldn't find it. It certainly wasn't on the screen. It's certainly not Georgia.
There's no such thing as defense in college football anymore.
No, it's just not Georgia. No, it's not Georgia. They're just not the best defense.
Defense doesn't win championships.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Okay, thank you, Heath. In Alabama.
Hold on. There's no Florida. You just can't even compare because Alabama and Georgia are at the same talent level. In fact, Georgia has just slightly more talent than Alabama. But at the quarterback position, that was the main reason why Alabama won. But the only reason why they were able to win at the quarterback was because the offensive line was unbelievable and they couldn't get any pass rush. Florida's offensive line is shaky, to say the least. They can barely run the ball. Kyle Trash is overrated. Against good teams, he falls apart. I'm not expecting that to happen. I think Georgia's going to easily win that game.
No, Florida is the better team overall. They're the better coach as well. Dan Mullen is a much better coach than Kirby. Florida's going to win that game. That's a story for another day. Alabama, they're going to the playoff. They're right now the best team in the country. We haven't seen Ohio State yet, and Clemson hasn't played anybody. So right now, Alabama's the best team in the country. Really impressed with them. You can't stop them on offense. A top 10 defense in Georgia, but they couldn't stop them. You can't stop this team. Alabama's the best team in the country right now.
So you're saying that nobody can stop Alabama, but because Georgia couldn't, that means they're a terrible defense.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming there's somebody out there that can stop Alabama.
No, nobody can.
Yeah, somebody can.
Nope, not possible.
All right, we're going to move on here. Next topic. Number 5, North Carolina falls to Florida State. Reactions. Heath.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Honestly, the ACC as a football conference, at best, is the Big East of college football, and at worst, is a garbage conference. I lean towards the latter. The UNC, they're number 5 in the nation, apparently.
Hold on.
They're number 5 in the nation,
Hold on.
apparently.
Stop. Hold on for a second. So you went from the Big East, which is the best conference in college basketball, to garbage. How does that work? Thank you for giving us the widest range possible.
Of the Big East, where anyone can win in it.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
To a garbage conference where somehow you're number 5 in the nation by beating a mediocre BC team. UNC is coming in, as of right now, UNC's best win, according to the Collie Matrix, is Boston College, who could barely get it done on the road at Tech. So I don't know how I can trust this. What an amazing UNC team has played. Team as UNC when they haven't played anyone. They're the same as Clemson. And look, they played a 1-3.
North Carolina,
Florida
the same
State
team as Clemson? You're telling me Clemson sucks?
We don't know yet because they haven't played anyone.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Okay.
Honestly, I say we'll find out who Clemson is when they play Notre Dame in primetime on NBC.
Well, Mike thinks Notre Dame sucks, and Clemson's a 15.5-point favorite on the road, so that's interesting. Okay, Mike. Oh, actually, I have a question for you. Last week, who would you have liked for the poll to rank over North Carolina?
Last week?
Yeah.
Everybody?
Who?
How about that?
I want you to tell me who.
Let's say.
Give me a team.
Who can we rank over North Carolina?
Give me a single team.
Hold on. Let me bring up the what's it called thing? The poll. Where do I find the poll there?
Yeah, okay, that's right. You guys can't come up with a single team.
I'll go to the coaches poll because it's better.
What about BYU? What about BYU?
Oh, get out of here with BYU.
Would have Miami, Cincinnati, Texas A&M, Florida.
Cincinnati?
They were
All right.
No.
Cincinnati, get out of here. No, get out of here. That's enough. That's enough. Mike, what's your reaction to the game?
Virginia Tech, Minnesota,
All right.
NC State.
All right. What's your reaction to the game?
Marshall, SMU, Coastal Carolina.
I think he's going to try to
Notre Dame, Iowa State, Miami.
What's the reaction to the game? Mike?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I think coming into the season, North Carolina is probably the most overrated team easily coming into the season. I mean, listen, I know they had some good moments last year, but you can't ignore that they went 7-6. Okay, you can't ignore the record. The record shows that they just were not able to win close games. And coming into this season, they play a lot of close games, games that shouldn't have been close. BC shouldn't have been close. It was. And then Syracuse was close in the first half. It shouldn't have been close. Syracuse is terrible. But listen, North Carolina overrated coming into the season. Listen, I wasn't expecting them to lose this game, but I'm not shocked that they did. I mean, Florida State's got some talent. They just have to put it together. So it's not shocking they lost, but I was shocked that they weren't able to come back and win. I think that's embarrassing considering that Florida State finds ways to lose, and North Carolina couldn't capitalize on that.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. And by the way, with regards to the poll, UNC around 14. That's probably where they should be. That's probably where they actually are. They're a top 15 team, but
no, maybe top 25.
Yeah,
but,
maybe.
They're a top
they're not
15
a top
team.
5 team, and honestly, they're only in the top because of the massive ACC bias.
Oh, there's ACC bias. The ACC sucks.
Yes. No, any team who's undefeated in the
I
ACC,
think he's gonna try to
even though they've played
outgun
nobody,
him and
is apparently
outrun
the greatest team on earth until they lose.
Okay, well, anyways, I was a little surprised that they weren't going to come back as well. And watching the end of that game was just infuriating as a guy who was really high on UNC coming into the year. They get a drop pass. I think it was like 3rd and 8 or something, and they were driving to go win the game against Florida State in the last minute. Drop. 4th and 8. Guy wide open, standing at the sticks for a first down. Would have had like 20 more yards. Drop. I mean, I thought I saw DK Metcalf out there trying to catch the ball. It was awful. I mean, learn how to catch the ball. They should have won that game, and they should still be ranked in the top 5. If they won that game, they would have been ranked in the top 5. Still.
Chris, I love how you try to spin this for UNC.
I'm not going to spin this. They should have won the game.
When Miami beats them, or when everybody else beats Florida State, it's the worst win in the history of football.
It's different. It's different. You have to
that's a very good loss.
You have to apply it correctly. You have to apply it correct.
No, the spin zone.
Listen, Miami played at home against Florida State. UNC played on the road.
Oh, come on.
It's different.
Act like Miami has a home field advantage?
Yes, they do. Major.
Miami plays in an empty box.
No, they
Let's
don't.
calm down for a moment.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
All right. Okay. That's all I have to say there. We have some SEC results, I suppose.
Are we going to talk about UMass losing to Georgia Southern 41-0?
Okay, UMass is just not a football team.
I think he's going to try to outgun him
Georgia
and
Southern's a good
outrun him.
Football team. They beat Maine in a
I
close
think
game.
he's going to try to outgun him
last
and
year.
outrun him.
That's late news.
Okay. All right, we got some SEC results here. Kentucky just blows the doors off Tennessee. I know Mike was ho-hum on Tennessee after Georgia beat him.
No,
of
it
course.
wasn't.
No, yes you were. Yes, you
No, go back and get the clip.
No,
What did
I will
say?
go back and get the clip. You were talking
said
about
the
how
game-
Tennessee was a top 5 team in the country.
No. I never
All right.
said that.
All right.
Here's what I said.
Oh,
said
no,
the
no,
game-
I'm not
I
done
said
reading the
game
scores.
against Kentucky.
Not reading the scores.
Okay, fine.
Okay, Arkansas beat Ole Miss 33-21. Texas A&M takes care of business against Mississippi State 28-14, and Auburn falls to South Carolina, and that was a very good game, 30-22. Reactions to these games. Heath, we'll start with you.
For one,
I think he's going to try to outgun him and
the
outrun
fact
him.
how sad of a program Tennessee is. Just how can you be this bad and be in the SEC? This mediocre. Oh, everyone's saying, "Oh, Tennessee's back. Tennessee's back." Oh,
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
And also, major props to South Carolina. I saw them play a really close game with Mississippi State earlier this year.
Hey, Heath, speaking
They're a
of
good
South
football team.
Carolina, remember when they played Michigan in the Outback Bowl and you said Jim Harbaugh was going to do this on offense?
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Become a Michigan fan, always living in the past. But teams in the SEC East don't get outside of Georgia don't get respect. That is a major fact.
Well, you just said Tennessee sucks, so you're not giving them respect.
Outside of Georgia and Tennessee,
What about Florida?
well, Florida's okay.
All right, Mike.
Well, it was. I'll go back to the Kentucky point I was trying to make. I said last week on the podcast, I said this was a big week for Tennessee. If they could take care of Kentucky, it would prove that they are an ascending program and they're able to beat teams they're supposed to beat, which a lot of teams can't. That one in the game, and Tennessee kind of quit at the end of the game, which is it's not a good sign. But yeah, I'm kind of off of Tennessee right now. I said they're up and coming, probably.
All right, so I'm going to ring this bell every time Mike tells a lie, like I just did right there. Last week on this podcast, he was talking about how great Tennessee was and how they were a top 10 team, and what a win it was for Georgia. So I just want to make that clear.
It was a good win. It was still a good win. I think Tennessee got
That's a lie. It's a lie. It was not a good win.
They're just not there yet, especially at the quarterback position. They're just not there. We'll move on to some other games. South Carolina, Auburn's horrible. They got just nothing. When you play South Carolina, the only thing you have to do when you play South Carolina is not turn the ball over. What do? They turn the ball over 3 times. That's why they lost. The only reason why. And Will Muschamp just coached circles around freaking Gus. Gus was horrible.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Don't you ever slander big game Gus like that.
Big game Gus only shows up against Alabama. He doesn't show up against.
That's not true. There's a very sound reason for why Auburn's not playing well. I'll give that one I go, but keep going.
Yeah, listen, we know it's an even year. Don't need to give that point again. Arkansas, probably the 4th, 5th best team in the West. I don't think anybody saw that coming into the year. I'll tell you what. In a couple weeks, when A&M plays them, that could be upset alert for A&M.
It's a lie.
Well, it's an opinion. It's not a lie.
That's not that bad of a take. I mean, Arkansas is due for an upset.
Keith, every time they win, it's an upset.
All right, I'll be hosting the podcast from next week on.
Nope.
Mississippi State, I mean, you hate to see it. KJ Costello, horrible again. I don't know what to say. I mean, he just makes horrible decisions at quarterback. He's got the arm talent. Chris is in love with his arm talent. And listen, it's respectable. He's got some good arm talent, but why is he forcing balls down the field in a close game? Why? It just doesn't make any sense. A&M played good defense. That's a good win for A&M because, they didn't do what Tennessee, or they did what Tennessee couldn't do, and they beat a team they're supposed to beat. So I'll give them respect for that. But my God, Mike Leach, he's got to move on at quarterback because it's not working out right now.
Okay, that's a lie also, but I'll get to that. All right, Tennessee, I know, an embarrassing week for how Mike's takes worked out. Tennessee, oh my God, Tennessee. What a team.
I'm still in first place.
Oh my God, Tennessee. Oh, yeah, what a great performance from Tennessee. Horrible. So that was embarrassing. Kentucky sucks too. Bad game for the SEC there. Arkansas,
Kentucky does not suck.
And they do. Arkansas, what else can you say? But Flying Felipe, soon to be Red Sox ace, Flying Felipe Franks, putting in the work to have his team at 2-2. That's all you can say. Great work from Flying Felipe.
Yeah, they actually are. I'm saying they're 3-1 actually.
Oh yeah,
they got
of course.
royally screwed. By big game Gus paying off the ref.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, that game was played at Auburn, so weird things happen in that stadium.
Yeah, did he pay two of his $8 million salary to the freaking refs?
Yes.
Help him out there.
Okay.
Most overpaid coach in the country.
No. Oh, hold on. Okay, Texas A&M. Great win for Texas A&M. I know if Luke was here, he'd be going crazy about how great Texas A&M is. What a performance from Texas A&M. Mississippi State, tough game. KJ, tough game. But, that's okay. It's not his fault. It's on Mike Leach.
Here comes the spin zone. The spin zone with Chris.
If anything that this win for A&M shows is how embarrassing it was for LSU to lose to this Mississippi State team.
Listen, I'm going to get to that, Heath. That's a great point. But anyways, A&M, great win. Mississippi State, I'm disappointed in Mississippi State. I'm really disappointed in Mike Leach. I'm telling you, this guy runs the same play. This guy runs the same play over and over again. Nobody's open. How about we learn how to run the football? Run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball.
I mean, why run the ball when your air raid beat the defending champs?
Yeah, well, that's because LSU. I'm going to get to this. LSU is I'm going to make this claim right now. LSU, outside of Vanderbilt,
here comes the spin zone,
is the worst team in the SEC.
Spin zone.
Outside of Vanderbilt, LSU is the worst team in the SEC.
You want to spin it? You want to continue to spin it?
Okay, I'm going to wait to make that claim.
Well, LSU lost to Missouri.
Until LSU plays some more teams.
They lost to Missouri.
Yeah, well, Missouri is going to win this week against Kentucky.
Missouri's not a bad team.
Mike, are we picking South Carolina at LSU?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Are we? Let me see. Yeah, we are.
Great. All right, that's enough of this. Next,
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking South Carolina, so you can say what you want, but I'm taking South Carolina in that game.
Todd, what a shocker. Mike is always a flip-flopper. Okay.
No, because Miles Brennan isn't playing. That's the only reason why.
All right. Mike has Miami written down here, but I'm just going to skip over that. We're going to Notre Dame, who was ranked in the top 4, now ranked in the top 3. They take care of business against LSU or against Louisville, with a really, really solid 17-12 victory. Was that the final score? Something like that.
12-7.
12-7. That's right. What a thrilling game. Heath, what are your reactions to the Irish getting the job done? Move up to number 3 in the rankings.
Well, I mean, they got the job done. They did classic.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Honestly, Louisville. Another great ACC team we got here. Might be the Irish showing their true colors. Only time will tell when they come to play actual opponents like Clemson and maybe UNC. But the matter of the fact
what about Boston College?
Oh, wow. What a great team in Boston College.
Actually, Heath, they played Pittsburgh this week.
Best win is over.
And you know,
who's their best win over? Oh, they beat Pitt.
Actually, Heath, nope.
What do they lose to Pitt?
Michael here said that Pittsburgh is the second best team in the ACC on multiple occasions. So that's actually a great win for Pitt.
What have I said lately? That's all that matters.
No, that's not true.
What have you done for me lately? What have I said lately?
Go ahead, Heath. Continue.
Well, honestly, a win's a win, but it doesn't really tell us a lot about Notre Dame. And honestly, it could be an early sign that this team just won't hold up under pressure when they can't score, and that this team can't hold up under pressure, and that they'll need to score and they need to get their offense in check because they're going to have to score a lot of points to win games against your Clemson.
Yeah, they're going to have to start running and gunning a little bit more.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Good by the time they play Notre Dame.
Mike?
Okay, because you skipped over Miami, I have to do a spiel about Miami. No, I mean, you got to give Miami respect because this is a game Miami Chris would concede that. Miami loses this game every year. It doesn't matter if Pitt has a...
Pitt is a quote urinity tree. Pitt is a legacy of failure. They've done nothing, and they will do it.
Mike,
country,
okay,
so.
Kenny Pickett did not play. If he played, Miami would have lost by 50 points.
No, Miami lost to freaking FIU last year. If this was normal Miami, they would have lost. It doesn't matter who's okay? So, give credit to Miami. Notre Dame, I might sound like a Notre Dame hater on this podcast, and I'm not a big fan of Notre Dame, big rivals of Michigan State. As you well know, we got what do we play for? The whatever the hell they call those things, the mega horn or whatever. I don't know. Listen, I'll give Notre Dame credit. I mean, they won the game, but just you can't play like this. If they continue to play like this, they're going to get stomped twice by Clemson. And this week against Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh's going to cover that. Come for that easily because Notre Dame can't score, and Pittsburgh's got a good run defense, and Ian Book can't throw. So it's as simple as that. And I didn't watch the game a lot, but look, the box score does not make any sense. Malik Cunningham 60 for 19, so he threw it 19 times. He's completed 16. It's not a good look for Notre Dame's defense, especially when they play a very talented Clemson team coming up. And Pittsburgh, they don't have the number one passer in the country, but they can give us some problems. So I'd be concerned if I was Notre Dame. Maybe like 7-5 in a normal year, if this is a normal year for Notre Dame.
All right. Now, I am no Notre Dame fan because they are a big rival of Michigan. Let's be clear. I am no Notre Dame fan here.
Do you have a trophy for it? You have a trophy for
your
game.
Okay, but the thing is, they don't care about playing Michigan State because nobody cares about Michigan State. The thing is,
we got the megaphone. That's a big
Notre
trophy.
Dame is a very good team, and sometimes it pains me to say this, but I just don't understand when I hear these clowns like Mike here talk about Notre Dame like they suck. Look at what Louisville.
They have no talent.
Look at what Louisville.
Good, but they have no talent.
Look at what Louisville's done throughout the entire year. Louisville has scored a lot of points in pretty much all their games all year. They have scored. Here comes
the spin zone.
They have scored. Notre Dame let up 7 points to Louisville. Great day on defense.
You know what? How about I play the spin zone with Louisville, who had the worst defense in the country coming into the game?
No.
Notre Dame puts up 12 points.
No,
How
you
about
can't
that?
do that because what I'm going to say is I'm not worried about the offense from Notre Dame because Ian Book's a dog.
I am. I'm very concerned.
Ian Book's a dog. I'm telling
He
you.
might be a dog, but he's got no dogs on the outside besides Bennett Skoranek. He's got no one else.
No, Ian Book's a dog. He led them on that. He led them on a 10-minute drive to end the game. So
Chris, this isn't 1985. You have to have more than good trench play to win.
That's a lie.
Oh, okay. You think that's a lie? 'Cause
Yeah.
Georgia dominated Alabama.
Well, I'm telling you, Notre Dame is. If Notre Dame can find a way to beat Clemson once, they're going to be in the playoff. Nobody else says that.
Correct.
Now I'm receiving.
Notre Dame could go undefeated, and I wouldn't put them in my playoff.
All right. So before we move on to some Big Ten previews, I'm getting word in my ear that Heath has some breaking news about something about Bulls. Heath, go ahead.
So we received some breaking news as of right now. For the first time since
I think he's going to try to
the Army-Navy game will be played on campus in West Point, New York. The game is being moved from Philadelphia and will be played on campus at Army. Army is all time in West Point, 0-3. With the first meeting in 1890 and the most recent meeting in 1943. Honestly, just a big move. And with that West Point, and there's been a crowd at all the Army games this year of cadets. Honestly, that could be a big, that home field advantage for Army could be a big thing for Army trying to continue their streak in the Army-Navy game.
Okay. All right, let's move into some Big Ten previews. Probably the game of the week this week because it comes at 12 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Rutgers heads to East Lansing. What do we expect in this game? Heath, we'll begin with you.
I have to pick Rutgers. Michigan State is
It's not a pick.
Yeah, it's not a pick. Just what do you expect from we'll pick this game later.
I expect Michigan State to stumble.
I think he's going to try to outgun them and outrun them.
And I believe Rutgers will come. And I believe Rutgers will just play calm, collective football, and I think that the better team will win.
Mike?
Yeah, Rutgers, very interesting roster and very interesting scheme. They hired Sean Gleason away from Oklahoma State, the offensive coordinator that was formerly at Princeton, and that's a big hire for Greg Schiano. Rutgers has some intriguing transfers coming in, including Aaron Cruikshank. If you remember him, he took a kickoff back for a touchdown in the Rose Bowl for Wisconsin.
Jeremy Deering? Jeremy Deering?
Huh?
Playing for Rutgers, 99 yards.
He will try to be Jeremy Deering. I'm not sure if he can quite get to that level, and I'm not sure the announcer will be quite as excited if he does. Yeah, I mean, Rutgers, Michael Dwumfor, I'm sure Chris knows a lot about him, Michigan transfer. He's actually the only player on Rutgers' defensive line that's over 250 pounds. Intriguing fact of the day right there. Quarterback Noah Vedral played a little bit for Nebraska in the past couple of years when Martinez was hurt. So it's intriguing, the type of guys they have. They also have some Ohio State transfer that was the MVP of the Big Ten Championship a couple of years ago. Who, of course, he got overtaken by another young player because that's how Ohio State works. But intriguing. I think Michigan State's got the advantage in both trenches. Of course, it's just a hunch because we don't really know anything. For Michigan State, who the hell's going to be the quarterback? That's still the question. Nobody knows. And I think we won't know until 12 o'clock when Lisa Byington tells us who it is rolling out in the field. Personally, I want it to be a younger guy. Rocky's a redshirt junior. He's got 3 more years left if you don't include this year. We'll see. I think Michigan State has the advantage in pretty much every place. The one place maybe not would be maybe quarterback if you want to say Noah Vedral's decent. Although he's not even the starter. Arthur Stikowski might be the starter. They haven't named a starter.
That's right, Arthur Stikowski. Yeah, very interesting game. This is definitely the game I'll be watching at 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Rutgers, as Mike said, very interesting roster. One thing that really stands out to me in this game is the Michigan State minus 13.5 line. I didn't know Michigan State could score 13 points. So I don't think Rutgers is going to have any trouble covering that. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I mean, I don't really trust this Michigan State team. I think they're really, really bad. I think this is their only opportunity to win a game this year, if I'm going to be honest, looking at their schedules. They have to take advantage. I'm sure they'll be desperate to get a win because they know this is the only opportunity they have to win a game. That's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm looking for the desperation. I think they're going to be throwing the ball a little bit more than you think because they're going to need to score points quickly to not let Rutgers hang around. Because if they lose this game, they will not win a game the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, here's my concern. Okay, Rutgers, Greg Schiano's completely upended this roster. Now that either means Rutgers is going to be even worse than they are usually, or they'll be okay, be better than they are usually because they got rid of all their crappy scholarship players. So I think we'll see early in the game what type of game it's going to be. Either it's going to be a lot closer than people think, or Michigan State will win by a lot more. I don't think it's really in between, to be honest with you. I think Michigan State will either win by 40 or they'll win by 10 or maybe even less. I don't think there's an in between.
Or they won't win it at all.
Yeah. All right. What do we expect?
Anything could happen.
What do we expect from the Nebraska-Ohio State game? Heath.
To be completely honest, what we're all expecting is just to see the start of this supposed national championship run that the media has been hyping up for the past 6 months about Ohio State. Well, look, one thing to note going into this is Ohio State will be without 12 players going into this game, which honestly that might be a little bit of trouble. But
what are you talking about?
Ohio State released a status report for the season opener against Nebraska on Saturday, and the Buckeyes will be without 12 players, most notably running backs Marcus Crowley and Mayan Williams.
Never heard of those running backs.
My point being, supposedly, we're going to see on Saturday this legendary Ohio State team that
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun
But
him.
I say wait until that happens and let's stop making assumptions on a team that hasn't even taken the field yet.
Mike?
I'm going to make an assumption. I think Ohio State needs to win every game, and to make sure they're in the playoff, they need to kill everybody they play. And I think they will easily cover this 26 right now, what it is. I don't think Nebraska's good. I think they suck. And I think Ohio State will run it up on them. The thing was put in here for Luke, and Luke's not even on here, so yeah, who cares?
Yeah, I don't really take much out of this game. Ohio State should win this game easily by 50 or 60 points. Nebraska is just really bad. They're almost to Michigan State's level of bad, but really, really bad. Okay. What do we?
Well, when we beat you on Halloween Day, just don't come crying.
What do we expect from Penn State and Indiana? Will Indiana keep it close? Heath.
I think Indiana will keep it close. Indiana's a good football team. But honestly, I think Indiana will keep it close. But honestly, we all know that Penn State's going to come out on top. Penn State had a great year last year, and I think they'll continue that great streak of good football into this season. And it should be the start of a good campaign for Penn State.
What did I say last week? Previewing Penn State, I said just don't have a scandal. Well, that's already out the window with their basketball program. I'm just going to throw that out there. So they've already failed to start the season. The season hasn't even started yet. But this is very intriguing because you would think a top 10 team on the road against an unranked team, the line would at least be 2 touchdowns, but it's 6.5. Indiana is an undervalued team, and I think Vegas understands that. That's why it's low at 6.5. I think Penn State's going to cover 6.5, though. I think they'll win by 10-ish. I like Indiana. I like their offense, but I think Penn State has the advantage pretty much everywhere besides, maybe Indiana's wide receivers against their secondary and the quarterback. I think Penn State, even without Micah Parsons, I think they can go in there. No fans. Don't have to worry about a rowdy Indiana Memorial Stadium. Just unbelievable atmosphere there, as we all know. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I do think Indiana keeps it close. Tom Allen, terrific football coach. I think they keep it close for the first half, but Penn State, they have way too much talent to not win this game by double digits. They're going to find a way to pull away, whether it's late third quarter, early fourth, and win this game. This isn't a game James Franklin usually loses. He loses the big ones. So I'll take Penn. I think Penn State is going to pull away.
Let's keep in mind, I'm pretty sure as a head coach, Tom Allen is still winless against Michigan, Michigan State, and Ohio State.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
So I mean, he has to prove that he can do it.
All right. All right, before we get into the picks, this is the game of the week in the Big Ten, maybe the game of the week nationally. Michigan at Minnesota. What do we expect?
I expect the Michigan Wolverines to have the start to a horrible season, and I expect Minnesota to take back the Little Brown Jug. The Michigan Wolverines are headed by a clownhead head coach.
I think he's going to try to out-gun him and outrun him.
At running and gunning.
Yes.
I think he's going to try to out-gun him
I
and
think
outrun
what
him.
Jim Harbaugh will excel in at this game is stumbling over his own feet and losing. This is going to be the start of the year that will lead to Jim Harbaugh's firing and the return to greatness the year after in Ann Arbor. I pick Minnesota by 50.
Mike?
I've gone back and forth about this game all week. Start of the week, I thought Minnesota had the advantage. Then I looked at who Minnesota was losing on the defensive side, lost their top 5 tacklers, and they were decimated in the secondary. I'm like, Michigan can just throw it all over these guys. And then the weather became a factor. It's going to be near freezing with a chance of snow. I mean, that brings it back to Minnesota's way.
No, it does not.
What are you talking about?
Bad weather always evens the playing field, and Minnesota has a better roster than Michigan.
Evens the playing field. Michigan is a way better team.
No, they don't. Minnesota is much better.
Minnesota has the 13th best roster.
Hold on. Here comes every Michigan fan's excuses before the game to play it on the loss when they inevitably lose.
Chris, 24/7 talent composite ratings. Minnesota is the 13th best roster in the Big Ten. They are not a talented football team. They've developed very well, but I'm not sure if they're able to rebuild. I think I'm a little bit lower in Minnesota than a lot of people are. I think Michigan, if they're able to, if Joe Milton is what people say they are, if he's a Heisman candidate,
oh my
like
God,
every
nobody
Michigan
said that.
writer is saying. Did you see what PJ Fleck said?
Yeah,
I did.
I did.
Yeah, well, he's right. He's a generational type talent.
Yeah, okay.
And listen, I think Michigan should win this game, to be honest with you. I think they have more talent. I think it'll be relatively high scoring if the weather isn't a big factor, because both of these offenses can move the ball. But I think Michigan's got the talent advantage, and they probably should win the game.
Listen, I disagree, because if you look at teams that develop players and they have a lot of experience, something that Minnesota does have, that for me counts as talent. I don't care about the 5-star, whatever the 5-star recruits, the amount of recruits they have. How do they develop talent? Minnesota has been much better at that than Michigan. I believe they have a better roster. They have a better quarterback. And the game's at home. Not that it really matters, but I don't think Michigan's going to be able to compete, to be honest. We lost way too much on offense and defense, and then you factor in the fact that this is a big game on a Saturday night, ESPN's marquee game of the week, and I don't see a path for them to even come close to winning this game, in any fashion. This is the game of the week. It's a big game. Minnesota has a better roster. They have a better coach. I don't know how Michigan can even.
No, they don't.
How can Michigan?
Better coach, not a better roster.
Chris, hold on. So if Michigan wins this week, next week on the podcast, you can't say anything. But what a great win for Michigan it was. Because this week you're talking down about your own team.
Yeah, well, if they win, they'll.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't hate on Michigan and root for them too.
This is what Chris does every week with Michigan. He sets the bar super low so that when they surpass the bar, he can talk about how great of a win it is.
Listen, that's not true. I just don't think they're going to win this game. Okay, we're going to move into the picks. We're really happy to have guest picker Heath here this week. But here are the standings. Mike is in first place at 50 and 18. I'm genuinely confused on how that's possible.
Confused? I've destroyed you.
With the amount of games that this man has gotten wrong, I don't understand.
I've gotten 18 games wrong out of 78.
No, that's just not true. You calculate the picks, and you that's what you do. You calculate the picks, and you mess it up. Okay. Just like you mess up the podcast every time you host it. How about that?
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun.
Okay. I'm in second, 31 and 27. Luke is in third, 29 and 29. And Alex, who has not picked a game the entirety of the season, is at 24 and 34. So that's
what do you want me to put him at? 0 and 68?
Yes. All right. And by the way, you have Alex down for 58 games, and everybody else here is 68.
Who cares?
Luke is 58. I'm 58. And what is this? You have 68. So you have given yourself 10 more wins. I'm telling you, you've been cheating the system.
Right, okay. I'll change it to 40. My bad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. First game. Actually going to be played tonight. There will be Big Ten football tonight. 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Illinois at number 14, Wisconsin. Heath.
I want my gut says Wisconsin, but my heart says Illinois. But I'm gonna go with Wisconsin by 7.
Yep, I got Wisconsin.
Wisconsin as well.
Chris isn't going with Illinois. Interesting.
No, I'm off Illinois this year. I was on them last year, and I was right.
Yeah, you're right. They went 6 and 7. What a season!
They went 6 and 6, and you are going to talk about. You can't talk anything about Illinois if you blew a 28-3 lead against them.
Okay.
Next
I don't know
game.
What your point is.
Rutgers
That's in the past. Can't talk about the past. I'm thinking about the future.
Yeah. Rutgers at Michigan State.
Rutgers by 10.
Michigan State by 35.
I'm going to take Michigan State 6-3. Nebraska at Ohio State.
Is this even a question? Ohio State.
It is a question. Okay, there you go.
Buckeyes.
Ohio State by 65. All right, number 23, NC State at number 14, North Carolina.
I get NC State because the ACC is the Big East of college football, and anyone can win. Anyone can win.
I think he's going to
so
try
I see
to
UNC losing.
outgun him and outrun him.
Because I see UNC losing because they're after having a embarrassing loss last week. I think they'll match it with an equally embarrassing loss this week. UNC's aiming to get out of the pool as fast as possible.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that NC State's quarterback, Chase Leary, is out. He really was a spark plug for them. They had some big wins earlier. They beat Virginia, beat Pitt, 2 big ACC wins. And it's unfortunate. They have to go to their backup. I think that gives North Carolina the advantage. Although I think NC State, pretty similar roster-wise to North Carolina right now. But I think North Carolina, because of the quarterback, is better. I'll take North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to take North Carolina as well. NC State will keep it close just because North Carolina plays every game close. But North Carolina is the better roster, the better quarterback, better coach. I'll take UNC.
No, NC State is a better coach.
Okay. Kansas at number 20, Kansas State. I don't know why we're picking this game, but
because we pick every rivalry game.
Heath?
My heart says Kansas. I think Kansas will keep it close. But I have K-State by 5-7.
Yeah, Kansas State wins. Kansas State covers. Kansas is horrible, and Les Miles should be fired. How about that?
Did beat Texas a couple years back.
Late news. Okay.
That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I'm with Heath. Kansas keeps it close here. Les Miles coaching them up, but I'll take Kansas State. All right, Auburn at Ole Miss.
I have Auburn in a shootout.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some running and gunning in this game. That's for sure.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I don't see Auburn losing this game because this is what Gus does. Okay, Gus finds a way to go 500 in even years, and then in odd years he does ridiculous wins, like Chris says. And I think just Auburn's a little bit better. I don't think they'll fall to Ole Miss this week, and if they do, then Gus is on the hot seat.
Yeah, I think Auburn wins this game. And I forgot to talk about Auburn earlier. They're struggling right now for one reason. It's because it's an even year. Next year they will win the national championship.
Of course.
No doubt about it.
The national championship is
welcome to the spin zone.
And I actually have some points that I developed this week. Auburn only lost the national championship game, the 2013 national championship game, which was actually played in 2014 because the game was played in an even year. If it was played in an odd year,
exactly.
they would have won the championship.
Chris, what voodoo priest did you consult to make
they
that call?
They also only lost to UCF in the meaningless bowl game because it was played
in
an even year.
That was UCF's national championship.
That was played in an even year. They also only lost to Minnesota.
That game propelled UCF over Alabama in the College Bowl.
Okay. They only lost to Minnesota in that meaningless bowl game last year because it was played in an even year. So this is just something we have to understand with Auburn. They'll be back next year as a top-level team. Okay. I'll take Auburn in this game. Next game, Oklahoma at TCU. Heath, feel free to pick it.
I have TCU in this one. Oklahoma, they've just really digressed over the past couple years. The QB this year, he's just a mental head case, as Skip Bayless has said. So I'm taking TCU, the more solid team.
No, I think Oklahoma's found something. I'm taking Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma. This will be a close game, but I'll take Oklahoma. Number 2, Alabama at Tennessee.
Chris is now just copying my picks because he knows how great I am.
Alabama at Tennessee.
How is this game on CBS?
Because it's a rivalry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's a rivalry game. Yeah, no. Alabama's going to win because Tennessee's going to find a way to lose, as usual. Even if Alabama was not the great team it was, Tennessee would still find a way to lose. It's Tennessee. Alabama by 3rd.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Yeah, Tennessee doesn't have a chance. I'm taking Alabama.
Alabama. All right, next game. Number 3, Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. Heath, feel free to pick.
Okay, we have Pitt at Notre Dame at Pitt. I'm taking Notre Dame in that one. I think Notre Dame once again is going to win a very close game. It's probably 12 to 10 now in Notre Dame, and it will just prove the fact that we still don't know how good Notre Dame is in the Big East of college football, known as the ACC.
Mike?
Yeah, if Kenny Pickett was playing for Pittsburgh, I would have taken Pittsburgh. I'm just telling you that right now. I think Notre Dame's a great matchup for Pittsburgh's defense. It's the way they play, stop the run, which is that's Pittsburgh's specialty. They're number 1 in the country at stopping the run, and they've struggled against the pass, but Notre Dame has also struggled to pass the ball. But I think without Kenny Pickett, I think Notre Dame finds a way to win. I think they win I'm going to say 9-6 Notre Dame. So Pittsburgh will cover.
Yeah, I think this will be a close game. I agree. Notre Dame will find a way to win. They just find ways to win close games. They'll find a way. I'll take Notre Dame. All right, maybe the game of the day. Number 17, Iowa State at number 6, Oklahoma State.
I'm going to take Iowa State because this just seems about that time of year where Oklahoma State's looking good.
I think he's going to try to outgun him and outrun him.
Iowa State is a great team, and they are a great program, and they've won and they have gotten in a lot of close games with teams ranked higher than them as in the past couple of years. Therefore, I think Iowa State's due, and I'm taking Iowa State in this one by 7.
I actually agree with Heath on this one. I think Iowa State's better. I just think they're better. Okay, me and Luke agree on this. I think Iowa State's got a better roster. I think they've learned their lesson. Oklahoma State's going to try to break in Spencer Sanders this week, and he'll probably get injured for the 100th straight game. So they'll have to go back to Illingworth, and probably won't work out too well for Oklahoma State. But I think Iowa State, big physical defense. It's going to be tough on Oklahoma State. It's a really weird line. Oklahoma State's a top 10 team. They're only favored by 3 points. So I think it's a sign for Iowa State. I like Iowa State to win the game.
Yeah, I think it'll be close. But Oklahoma State has the far better roster. Sanders coming back, as Mike said.
Not true.
I've been saying Oklahoma State's the best team in the conference all year long, and I'm going to stick to it. I'll take Oklahoma State.
Chris, this is the first. We're like 10 games into the picks. And this is the first time you disagree with me. It's embarrassing. You're just trying to copy my picks.
That's not true. I'm just picking my gut, and it always works. Okay, next game.
Yeah, your gut. That's nine games back.
3:30 on FS1. It is number 8. Penn State at Indiana. I'm going to take Penn State in this one. Just Penn State's the better team, and they should win. But I think Indiana will keep it close. I have Penn State by 10.
Mike?
Yeah, I actually agree with Heath. I'm taking Penn State by 10.
Yeah, I'm going to take Penn State by 10 as well.
I'm copying my picks again.
All right. Baylor at Texas, Heath.
Well, see, this is another game. It seems like that time of year again where Texas loses a game it should win.
They've already done that.
Baylor.
So, Mike?
And I'm taking Texas because Baylor's had a couple of weeks off, and the games they have played, they didn't look very good. I think Texas will win and win big.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas. Baylor's had a couple of weeks off. The games they have played in, they haven't looked very good. I think Texas wins and wins big here. I'll take the Longhorns. Iowa at Purdue.
I'm taking Iowa. Iowa's the better program in this. Iowa's done a lot more in the past couple years than Purdue, and Iowa has the better recruits, better prospects, and they have the sickly children bonus, as Mike likes to put it.
No, that's Luke.
I'll take Iowa by 7.
So the game's at Purdue, Heath, so they can't do that.
Well, no. They're gonna Zoom call with the
all right.
sickly children before the game.
All right.
To get their magic powers.
Yeah, Purdue is gonna do a Zoom call with.
All right. No. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah. That's enough. I'm gonna go and pick this game. Iowa, much better team. I'm actually all in on Spencer Petras. Broke all of Jared Goff's records in high school. I think Iowa wins this game, wins big.
Are you saying Jared Goff's a good quarterback?
Heath, he's in the NFL.
He plays
starting quarterback for the NFL team. So I'll take Iowa big. Next game, Georgia Tech at BC.
No. This is a very intriguing game.
No, we're not, Mike. You are not allowed to talk about this game. Heath, we're going to you.
I literally.
Heath, we're going to you.
Check it out. My gut says Tech, but man, to appease the powers outside this podcast, I'll take BC by 3. I'll say BC's going to win 12-9 because it seems like a really good BC win in Chestnut Hill.
All right, Mike, go ahead. All right, thank you for not picking the game. I believe you're muted, Mike.
Who muted me?
I don't know, but Georgia Tech at BC. Who do you got?
No.
All right, so I'm gonna go and pick now. I've got BC in this game. All right, I just think they're the better team. Oh, and we have lost Mike. Okay, that is breaking news. He has forfeited all of his picks for the rest of the week. We'll finish up here. West Virginia at Texas Tech.
West Virginia, they have played some good teams this year. They had a tough loss versus Oklahoma State. But I'm going to take West Virginia in this game because Texas Tech over the past couple of years, they just seem to be in that post-Pat Mahomes hangover, and they just haven't really been able to get anything going as a program.
Yeah, they've been in the post-Cliff Kingsbury hangover. They can't survive without Cliff. So I'm going to take West Virginia as well in this game. All right, South Carolina at LSU.
I got South Carolina by 10 because LSU are frauds and they know it. The fact that this game is on ESPN and not SEC Network alternate is a shame.
All right. I believe we just got Mike back. Mike, we're on South Carolina at LSU.
I'm going back to the Iowa and Purdue game because.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take South Carolina in this game. I think LSU is the second worst team in the conference, so I'll take them. All right, Utah State at Boise State.
Oh, big opener for the Mountain West Conference. The Boise State, it's a tough place to go to Boise and play Boise State on that blue turf. I got Boise State by 7.
All right, I will take Boise State as well. Okay, Maryland at Northwestern.
Man, what a great program Northwestern is. Haven't really been able to do anything as of late. I'll take the Terps by 7. Shocker on the road.
Yeah, I don't think this is much of a. This is actually a really intriguing game. I actually really like. I really like Northwestern in this game. Getting some text from Mike right now. He's not happy, but I will take Northwestern. I think they're going to be much improved this year, and Maryland sucks. All right, number 9 Cincinnati at number 16 SMU.
Man, I'm shocked this game isn't on ESPN Plus because that's the home of Cincinnati athletics now. But I'm going to take SMU at home. Just Cincinnati's going to have a tough time going down to Dallas and playing an actual team. So I'll take SMU by 10.
All right, we lost Mike. We got him back. Mike, we're on Cincinnati at SMU.
I'm going to go back to the Purdue-Iowa game again. If you keep muting me, I'm going to freaking throw something. We are a Big Ten podcast, and there's a Big Ten game, and you won't let me pick it. This is bullshit. How about that? Okay, this is a very intriguing game for me because you got two programs who are in disarray a little bit. Iowa, we know the scandal that they're in right now. We don't have to talk about it too much. And for Purdue, their head coach has COVID. So it's as simple as that. It's who's going to prepare their team better for this game. And in my opinion, I think Purdue has got more talent. I think Iowa's, once again, going to go 7-5. Well, they can't go 7-5, so they'll go 3-5. But I think Purdue's going to win. So that's my so-called upset of the week.
You got Purdue. Spencer Petras broke all the records at Marin Catholic.
Yeah, well, Brian Lewerke broke all the records in high school too. So.
All right, fair enough. All right.
7:30 ABC.
Well,
number
hold
18,
on.
Michigan at
This is that's right. That is our last game. Michigan at Minnesota.
Georgia Tech at BC. I'm taking BC.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mike. These picks don't count.
Our last game of the week is number 18 Michigan
West
at number
Virginia.
21.
West Virginia at Texas Tech. Who did you pick?
We both took West Virginia.
I don't care about Heath.
We then both took South Carolina. We both took Boise State, and Heath, did you take Maryland? And I took Northwestern.
I took Maryland. Shocker on the road for the Terps.
And I took SMU and Cincinnati at SMU. Shane Buechele, horns up.
Okay, I am taking West Virginia. I am taking South Carolina. I am taking Boise State. And Northwestern and Cincinnati.
Okay, last game. Number 18 Michigan, number 21 Minnesota. Heath.
I'm taking the Golden Gophers in this matchup. Jim Harbaugh will find a way to lose this game. He will overcoach this game to a loss. Jim Harbaugh is the epitome of a bad coach. He can't even run his program right. He can't recruit anyone. He's just a bad coach. This will be the start of the downfall of Jim Harbaugh, and greatness will return to Ann Arbor next year when someone else is in the head coaching seat whose name isn't Jim Harbaugh. I'll take the Golden Gophers by 20.
Mike?
Michigan wins. Michigan covers 31-21.
Yeah, I like Minnesota in this game by at least 25 points, so that's my pick there. All right, is there anything else anybody wants to add?
Yeah, I think it's bullshit that you keep kicking me.
All right, so that's going to do it.
Bullshit.
That's going to do it.
Hold on. There's one more game we have to pick.
What's that?
Who's Wentworth
big
playing
game,
this week?
10-15 on ESPN. We have 1-5 Texas State.
Okay, that's going to do it for today's podcast. We have both. I'm assuming we have nothing else to add.
Go Green. Big game tomorrow. Beat our rivals. Have to get it done.
Heath, we want to thank you for joining us. Hope to have you back on soon. Great guest.
Heath, appreciate the great analysis.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on.
I think he's going to try to out-gun him and outrun him.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week.